How's it going, my fellow Titans? Welcome to a brand new Titans Season 3 video. So today is going to be a fairly juicy video. And yes, I know, how can it get more juicier after the little teaser trailer that we got the other day? Well, trust me, it's just about to get a whole much more juicier, because today we're going to do a teeny bit of a Titans teaser trailer retrospective, if you will, because there are some things that I didn't even spot, embarrassingly enough, that really are quite some cool additions to all the theories that you guys presented, and there are a lot more connections to make now, and I'm very solid on some of the theories now that come out of this trailer, to the point of where I think they very much so will happen in the show. But not only that, ladies and gentlemen and fellow Titans out there, we've got some more bonus info that adds so many connections to what I was just teasing about what we saw in a trailer for what's coming with Red Hood's story this season, to do with fear toxin, Scarecrow, and just everything that Greg Walker, the showrunner, has teased of some information that I haven't even told you guys yet. So trust me, strap in. I think you guys are going to love this. Maybe you're going to elaborate on it with some of your own crazy theories, because yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to this. So other than that, like this video if you do go on to enjoy it, of course, and yeah, just subscribe if you're brand new here, because I think around 60-something% of you aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you find yourself coming back here, hit the subscribe button with the notifications on so you never miss out on a future Titans video. So starting with the little retrospective of the teaser trailer, some additional things that not only did I notice after I posted it, but a bunch of you guys were commenting as well, and I have to include that in this video because, well, why not? Little extra details, I suppose. So one of them is the very opening scene. Now in my breakdown I said there seems to be some kind of crime going on, or at the very least, obviously we've got the bat signal. I think that this could have meant that the Titans hadn't maybe even arrived in Gotham yet, since the Titans come to Gotham most likely after the events of A Death in the Family with Jason Todd. But regardless, all of that aside, we do spot a little someone in the corner there looking up at the bat signal, and I think this is an absolute brilliant foreshadowing, because it is none other than Jay Lycurgo's Tim Drake. And for one, a character I am very much so looking forward to coming this season. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, but personally, I'm really looking forward to see what he brings to the role, and just seeing a Titans adaptation of Tim Drake's Robin, even though I don't think he's going to be Robin. It's more going to be a lot of build-up to that future point. But regardless, the thing that we could take out of this scene, this could just be like a really nice almost cameo before he properly gets introduced in his role in this season, of just this opening here. You see the bat signal in the sky, and we see Tim Drake looking up at it, and maybe he's wondering who the Batman is, and maybe he may very well follow through with actually figuring out who Batman is, accurate to the comics, as a lot of you already know. Now up next is it's very interesting. I know one thing for practically sure, so let's start off with that, but the second half is more of a theory, but I have some connections to it that make it even more solid, and I really want your guys' help on this and your insight, because it makes me excited. And this isn't even the juicy stuff, as I said. Well, it is pretty juicy. So after we see Bruce Wayne in the trailer, he comes into like the camera angle, and he looks pretty devastated to an extent. Like, Ian Glenn's Bruce doesn't look the most relaxed. We can clearly agree on that, I'm sure. And at first, I thought that the following moment after this, when obviously the camera pans out, and it looks, or is kind of meant to trick you, and I fell for it, the crowbar, and you're meant to assume that that person in the background with the camera blur, and I thought that was Bruce Wayne, but it's actually Dick Grayson, as a lot of you noticed as well. Like, the shirts clearly don't match. Bruce Wayne's got a longer sleeve top, Dick Grayson's is like up here, and you can just tell that that is Brenton Thwaites' Dick Grayson, even though it's a little bit blurry in the background. Now, what this tells me is that the crowbar could have been placed there sometime after the events of Jason Todd's death, if you know what I mean. And I quote it, air quote it like that, because I think they're going the Arkham Knight route of where he didn't actually die, but he basically got to the brink of death, and everyone is led to believe that the Joker killed Jason, but he just does return back after feeling abandoned. You know, a lot of you know how the Arkham Knight story goes. He doesn't actually die, but everyone thinks he died. In my trailer breakdown, I was like, well, who would have placed this there? Could it be Jason? No, it makes even more sense now that Jason as Red Hood, this is probably as Red Hood is emerging in the city for the first time, went into Wayne Manor. This makes way more sense to me, and put the crowbar there as a ambiguous kind of mysterious message. You know, it's just like, don't forget about this. And Dick Grayson is there spending some time in Wayne Manor. And to be honest, at this point, probably all the Titans have come over, and as the showrunner said himself, they'll be chilling in Wayne Manor. Basically, this is sometime after the events of Jason's death, as I keep repeating, but it's important because this is when the crowbar pops up. It could be a few months or whatever. Bruce Wayne has stepped down, and I'm about to get into that, and that's why the Titans are in Gotham, chilling in Wayne Manor. You get the idea. So we've discussed the crowbar being left there is probably by the Red Hood himself sometime after, and alerting them to, who is this? Why has the crowbar been left there? Who is teasing us about our former Robin who died? Who would be doing this? Now, hear this theory out. So here we get this part in the trailer with a knife. Now, I thought this kind of a military-grade kind of Bowie knife, if you will, was maybe Red Hood. And going along that theory route in my breakdown video, it wasn't massively surprising to me to imagine Red Hood equipping something like that. I thought that could be him in Wayne Manor because of the lights in the background. But I've got a whole different theory now, and I'm very, very sure on this. So, there's this set photo of Karen Walters, and this was posted quite a while back now, in the Red Hood suit. But look at the lights in the background here. I believe that these lights on the wall, these lamps, if you will, are reminiscent of the lights that we're seeing in Wayne Manor, where we see Dick Grayson in the background, or whether that's the shot with Ian Glenn's Bruce, kind of looking like he's just done something, if you know what I mean. So I believe, yes, that further solidifies the theory that Red Hood comes in sometime after Jason's death, leaves the crowbar on the floor. At this point, Batman has already stepped down. Dick Grayson sees the crowbar, and obviously no one quite yet knows that Jason actually is alive and has let alone come back as an anti-hero as Red Hood. So you can kind of see how that matches up with, you know, the same location of where Karen Walters took that Red Hood picture. It might have been the very same location as Wayne Manor, and what I'm trying to get is that he was filming that day of dropping the very crowbar off in Wayne Manor. Now I want to bring to your attention that scene of the knife. Now probably I'm not seeing it right now, but on video you guys are probably seeing a very lit up version of this. Now this knife is very bloodied. I've already kind of briefly teased this in the video, but the same lights are in this location as where this person is holding this bloodied knife. Now this tells me, at least I'm going to assume for now, I'm not saying this is fact, but that this is in Wayne Manor again. Now I want to pair this, well I do want to first propose this could be Jason Todd's Red Hood in Wayne Manor, dropping off the crowbar, as we've kind of already been over. But what about the reason why England's Bruce Wayne, you know, the reason why he steps down? Initially I thought it would just be the kind of stress of the situation. He feels really guilty. Obviously there's all kinds of reasons as to why Batman might need some time off and the Titans to come into Gotham to help out, just because he lost a Robin. But what if it's because of something much worse? I mean, obviously Jason dying is something pretty bad, but what if Bruce Wayne did something himself that he went too far with? And I know some of you already discussed something like this, but what if that scene where it's interestingly cut, you know, he comes in, we see England's face, he looks like really uptight and rigid, and then the next scene we see panning out, where I initially thought it was Bruce Wayne, but it was Dick Grayson, winding back to that scene of Ian Glenn coming in within Wayne Manor, you see those same familiar lights on the wall. Well, what if we connect that scene to the bloodied knife scene, and that is actually Ian Glenn's Bruce holding a knife, like the big military grade Bowie knife kind of thing, after maybe kind of doing in the Joker, so to speak, like really maybe even killing him. Now I know that's going to piss so many people off. It's going to be very controversial in one way or another. I think I can appreciate how dark it is and how Batman can almost be pushed to that point, but I also really do get the other side of how that really almost alienates certain Batman fans. It's going to be interesting. I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just saying, what if they do actually bring to fruition, ironically enough, the Trigon reality manipulation from season 1 where Batman killed Joker? Well, in this, after Jason Todd dies, well, he doesn't really die, but everyone thinks he's dead. Well, that scene of Bruce Wayne coming in on the camera doesn't look too happy, looks really tight, like something bad's happened. We know he steps down as Batman for some time. We know that's why the Titans come in, Dick Grayson comes in, that's why we see Dick Grayson in Wayne Manor. Well, I'm thinking, as I've already kind of said, that bloodied knife could be Bruce coming back in after doing a number on the Joker, and if not possibly killing him. And that is why it forces him to think, I'm not even me right now. I'm not even Batman. I can't be Batman because I killed the one guy I haven't killed this whole time. Think about how many times this Batman at Ian Glenn's age has spared the Joker. And then the one straw that broke the camel's back is Jason Todd seemingly dying to him and everyone else, so he did that. And another guess, by the way, if the bloodied knife isn't Ian Glenn, I'm wondering if the crowbar on the floor that Dick Grayson is looking at, maybe he came to town, obviously, to help support Bruce in this time of, you know, obviously Jason's seeming death. Even though I proposed the theory of Red Hood coming in, and I connected the behind-the-scenes photo of Karen Walters in a location that seems to be like Wayne Manor as well, like, yeah, maybe he could have dropped it there, but what if, knife aside, let's just say that it's Red Hood's bloodied knife, what if Ian Glenn's Batman, with his crowbar bloodied, dropped it on the floor after going too far of the Joker in revenge, and that is why he needs to take some time off. So I know this is kind of scattered all over the place with theories. One thing I think I want to draw in conclusion here, just a TLDR kind of thing. That scene in the trailer where Bruce comes to the camera, and the scene afterwards where it pans out into the crowbar, one's Bruce, one's Dick Grayson. The bloody crowbar on the floor is most likely Red Hood sometime after the events of Jason's seeming death, dropping it there. The bloodied knife could be Bruce Wayne himself attacking and possibly killing the Joker, or if not that, the crowbar in an alternate theory could be what Batman or Ian Glenn's Bruce used himself to beat the Joker, just like he beat Jason, because he just loses control. I mean, think about it. Bruce Wayne losing a Robin. I know this is why it's interesting. I feel like they might actually go there, whether it's the knife or the crowbar theory. I don't know. I do like to think that the crowbar was left there by Jason Todd after he's come back, after he's donned the Red Hood mantle himself, and nobody else quite knows it, so that's why he drops it on the floor. But no matter what, whether I'm even not spot on here, I think that moment where we see Ian Glenn's Bruce Wayne isn't what I once thought it when in the breakdown, where it's just him seeing maybe, like, you know, the news of Jason's death. I think that could be him coming into Wayne Manor after doing something terrible that forces him to take a very long bat sabbatical, so to speak. But I would love to know your thoughts on that. I know I kind of rambled on about that quite a bit, but it's, you know, I have the same theory branching out into different timelines, versions of it. Is it the crowbar that he used? Is it the bloodied knife that he used? Is the bloodied knife that we saw in the trailer Red Hood? So does that mean that it is the crowbar that Bruce Wayne used? And Bruce Wayne might not have even done anything that bad. And I'm talking about killing the Joker. But I'm telling you, I feel like they made Bruce snap because of Jason's death. I feel like it might actually happen. But anyway, let's move on to the juicy stuff where this pertains to even more parts in the trailer. With Red Hood's story this season, we get way more than what I thought we would be teased with. And I don't think a lot of fans know about this. And it's really, really, really interesting stuff. So Greg Walker, the showrunner, teased to the DCTVpodcast.com, who covered some very interesting info at the ATX Television Festival. Now, this panel consisted of the showrunner, the cinematographer Boris Modzwowski, production designer Ian Brock, and superhero costume designer Laura Jean Shannon. So there's lots and lots of really cool information in this about set pieces, the presentation of the show, little tidbits from the costume designer. But for this video, initially, we're going to take out directly from what Greg Walker had to say, which reveals, as I keep saying now, some very interesting details about Red Hood's story this season. But we will get onto some of the production design teasers that pertain to this story as well. Listen very carefully, and then we're going to tie it to a couple of scenes in the trailer and even the behind-the-scenes picture we've been teased with, and it will really, really open your eyes to what they could be doing. So Walker opened up about how he felt the team had accomplished everything there was to do with San Francisco in terms of challenging the young heroes. For Walker, Gotham City felt like the organic next destination for the crew, with it being DC Comics' darkest city in existence. The EP stressed that due to how psychologically grounded the show is, going to Gotham will be a new setting for them. For someone like Dick Grayson, a lot of his troubles started in Gotham, so to go back to where your trouble started, we're kind of playing with the you can't go home again idea, which felt like the proper direction for the next season. This season will see Jason Todd evolve from the second Robin into Red Hood, shifting from being a Titan into an anti-hero. Red Hood will serve as an antagonist to the group, and apparently he will be teaming up with an unexpected ally. Walker teased that Jason is still struggling to overcome his fear after what he went through in Titans Season 2. To overcome it, Walker revealed that Red Hood will be turning to none other than Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, who he describes as the world's most renowned expert on fear. But whether or not Vincent Kartheiser's take on Crane will actually don the Scarecrow costume, he wouldn't say. Very, very interesting stuff. I mean, this came out quite a few days ago now, before even the trailer came out, but I wanted to save it for a separate video because that video was long enough in of itself. But we've now got confirmation that Jason is still dealing with the events of that PTSD he was kind of dealing with. Do you remember when he was staring out windows, still kept feeling like he was falling? And then obviously added on top of that now, they're doing the under the Red Hood kind of a death in the family storyline of the abandonment, the trauma of being beat by Joker, and he turns into Red Hood. You all kind of get the vibe of where that goes. So he turns to an unexpected ally this season of Jonathan Crane in an effort to overcome his fear. And this very much so relates to scenes in the trailer. Also, I do want to add in that behind-the-scenes set photo of Vincent Kartheiser's Jonathan Crane. It looks like he's in like a prisoner transport van. He's still kind of cuffed up and he's looking at someone. Yeah, you probably know that's when Red Hood breaks him out. So we've made that link with that behind-the-scenes photo. I can't prove that. I'm not omniscient, but I'm very sure that's when Red Hood will break him out. It just feels right, especially as we know he's working with him right now. But, oh, what did the trailer show? Somebody inhaling some of Scarecrow's or Jonathan Crane's fear toxin. So initially we see the kind of inhaler-type kind of fear toxin with somebody, you know, using it, and they're breathing it in, and then we get the shot, and many people thought that this looked like Jason or Curran Walters' really close zoom up of his eyes and face. That's when the eyes kind of widen, the pupils widen, with the effects and intoxication, I guess you could say, of fear toxin. Now, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that those scenes in the trailer are indeed Jason Todd's Red Hood, after Vincent Kartheiser's Jonathan Crane assists him with Jason's request to help overcome his fear. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to that, by the way. It's not just, oh, I want to overcome my fear, so give me some of your fear. It's obviously a lot deeper than that. There's probably context that we don't even know other than the abundantly obvious context of the trauma he's gone through at the hands of the Joker. Before that, what he went through in season 2 after nearly falling to his death, and a bunch of other things I'm sure that they'll chuck in. So that's crazy. There you have it, people. Once he breaks him free after that behind-the-scenes photo that we saw, he's got to inhale some fear toxin. And can you imagine how unhinged Red Hood is already to do what he's doing and go to the gangs of Gotham, the mobs, you know, that scene straight out of Under the Red Hood that we see in the trailer. There's probably a bunch of decapitated heads in that duffel bag of all of their lieutenants. And if he did that in just, what, like a few hours, imagine what he could, you know, straight out of Under the Red Hood. It's great. Well, imagine trying to be level-headed and operate under the influence of fear toxin. Like, he's voluntarily inhaling fear toxin, and probably Jonathan Crane's approach here is like, you know, look, we're gonna maybe microdose you with fear toxin so you can get used to that and revel in your fear, maybe. That's kind of like, you know, Jonathan Crane's thing sometimes, is to overcome fear through just embracing it entirely. So maybe that's Jason's approach, and I think that's a really cool, innovative twist and new take. This is why I love adaptations. As I always say, they're not copy and paste, even though they're giving you a lot of comic book accuracy with Crowbar, Joker, Jason Todd. Well, this is how they add to it. But we've got even more details. These details I want to add are about the production design that hints at some things we've already seen from set photos, but that gives us even more context to this season's story. So there's a new production designer that's joined Titans this season, with the article going to say with his biggest task to design a Gotham City that has never been seen before. And throughout the panel, Brock spoke about the fact that they applied some of the things going on in real life into his Gotham City. Now, while Brock couldn't reveal specific plot details, he alluded to curfews, masks, and vaccinations being part of the story, which sounds like this will be a very intense and fragile Gotham City. Now, I know that's brief, but the fact that he teased that there's going to be masks and curfews and vaccinations, like, could Gotham City, through Jonathan Crane being out in the open, through Red Hood most likely busting him out in this photo, is the city in almost a Batman Begins way? And I'm not saying it's going to be in the water pipes of Gotham, but is it just is fear gas everywhere? And that is what Jason is maybe trying to capitalize upon through working with Crane. Maybe he believes that everyone should overcome their fears. But that's more of a Scarecrow accurate motive. I don't know, though. This is where, like, I can't branch it all together. But think about it. Curfews, masks, vaccinations to make people probably in Gotham City immune to the effects of the fear toxin. And why would they need vaccinations unless you could go places where it seems like you're going to get the intoxicating effects of the fear toxin. And I guess that really wraps up this video. I don't want to ramble on too much more. I think that's a lot of cool insight that I guess, you know, I've tried to give my 2 cents on it, and you guys can try and fiddle around with the pieces of the puzzle together. So what did you think of my theories about Ian Glenn's Bruce Wayne having probably done something and walked past the line that he can't quite walk back from, which leads him to kind of retire temporarily from being Batman, thus needing the Titans support in Gotham to help, you know, solve crime and keep crime low in the city. Obviously, let me know what you think about the Jonathan Crane Red Hood theories with him inhaling fear toxin. Well, that's kind of confirmed through Greg Walker's comments. But I'm going to shut up now, guys. So like this video if you did enjoy it, of course. Make sure you subscribe for more Titans update videos and theory videos and all kinds of videos like this, amongst other superhero content on the channel. Also, if you got this far in the video, type the hashtag with whatever comment you're going to comment down in the comments below. Hashtag Jason is going on a fear trip. And other than that, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you fellow Titans in the next video. Goodbye.